Welcome back, everybody. I'm Sassy Pants, wife to Matty the rancher, and I'll be your storyteller today. Welcome to Adventures with Sodak Pete. Stories that celebrate the hard work, the big hearts, and the wide open spaces of ranch life. Out here, every day's an adventure, and we hope that each and every one of you listening can imagine yourself as little Sodak Pete, learning the ropes, getting your hands a little dirty, and helping out where it counts. So grab your boots, tip your hat, and let's see what today's adventure has in store. Sodak Pete, Haulin Gravel on the ranch. The sun peeked in the window, painting stripes across the kitchen table. I was flipping pancakes while Matty sipped his coffee, and Pete was piling the syrup high on top of his pancakes. Millie was dozing under the table, tail thumping now and then. And Pete looked up. His blue eyes were bright. "What are we doing today, Matty?" Matty grinned over his coffee cup. "We're hauling gravel today, bud. Gotta fill those ruts in the driveway, and we need to finish up around that new tire tank." Pete's grin came quickly, and Millie's ears perked up. Sounded like a good day to them. Out in the ranch yard sat Lola, our trusty gravel truck. Her rusty gold paint had aged gentle in the sun, and her chrome grille had seen a few summers, but she still looked proud. When Matty turned the key, Lola gave a steady rumble, rumble, grumble that filled the air, strong, sturdy, and friendly, like she was glad to be back at work. Matty gave her Dash a pat. "She's hauled more loads than I can count, Pete, but she's still got plenty left in her." Before they rolled out, Matty showed Pete how to check the oil, peek at the tires, and fill the tank full of diesel. Pete got a whiff of that oily smell, that kind that says, "We're getting something done today." "Always keep an eye on your equipment," Matty said. "Oil, fuel, tires, they work a lot better and longer if you take good care of them." They all climbed up into the cab, Matty driving, Pete riding shotgun, and Millie sitting tall right in the middle. Lola's rumble grumble rolled steady down the gravel road. Dust trailed behind them as they passed some fence lines, and a few curious cows lifted their heads and watched them go by. The gravel pit stretched wide and bright under the morning sun. Big mounds of rock shimmered like gray sugar, and the whole place was buzzing with energy and action. The loader filled Lola's box, one big scoop at a time. Clank, crash, ksh. She grumbled deep and low and stood firm, proud to be hauling a full load of gravel. Down the road they went, strong and steady. The steering wheel hummed and buzzed in Matty's hands, and Pete could feel the weight in every turn. "She's sure tough," Pete said, and Lola gave a low, even grumble, like she was saying, "You bet I am." Back at the ranch, Matty backed Lola up just right. He lifted the box, and gravel slid out in a clean stream. Shh. Next comes Scrappy, our skid steer, ready to work. Matty hopped in and leveled the piles smooth, while Pete watched real close. When the big work was done, Pete jumped in with his shovel for the finishing touches. Millie circled close, leaving paw prints in the dust. Next, they moved to the ranch yard, filling ruts near the shop and soft spots by the gate. Matty and Scrappy worked slow and steady, smoothing out each patch. Pete followed behind, spreading the gravel even with his shovel, making it look clean and tidy. When they were done, that yard looked fresh as a new haircut. By noon, Lola and Scrappy were parked side by side, quiet and calm. Pete and Matty came on in for dinner, roast beef sandwiches, cold lemonade, and a plate of fresh oatmeal cookies. Millie flopped on the porch, tail dusting the boards. Pete grinned between bites. "You know, this might be my favorite kind of day," he said. Matty chuckled. "Mine too, bud." After dinner, it was back to work. They headed back to the gravel pit and came home with a full load of gravel to put on the two-track path that winds through the pasture and out to the far hayfield. The road was really rough, but Lola's grumble stayed steady. They dumped and leveled gravel in the deep ruts, making that trail smooth enough for tractors and trucks come haying time. Millie raced ahead, barking like she was inspecting the job for herself. Then they hauled the last load to the tire water tank they had just put in. The black tire gleamed in the sun, full of cool, clear water. Matty and Scrappy smoothed the gravel around the edges, making it solid and level. Pete added a few shovelfuls by hand while Matty tapped it down. "That'll keep the cows out of the mud until we can get a cattle mat put here next to the tank," Matty said with a nod. When the last of the gravel was spread, Matty parked Scrappy and gave Lola's hood a pat. "Good work, girl," he said. Lola answered with a soft, cooling grumble, her metal sides clicking in the warmth of the sunset. Matty and Pete stood quiet for a moment, watching the light stretch across the ranch yard. The driveway looked smooth, the tank was set solid, and the path was ready for the working days ahead. Dust floated golden in the air, proof of a day well spent. That night, we all sat and relaxed out on the porch. Matty in his chair, Pete on the step, and Millie curled up in his boots. I leaned against the post and I smiled. "Hard work sure has a way of filling more than just the holes," I said. "It fills a day with purpose, too." The stars blinked awake, one by one. Out in the ranch yard, Lola sat quiet and steady right beside Scrappy, both dusty and happy from a good day's work. Just two old friends, resting easy until the next time. And as the night settled soft over Oak Creek Ranch, I whispered a quiet thank you for this land we get to care for the work we get to do together, and for the good Lord who blesses every day we're given here. Thanks for riding along with us today. Sodak Pete and I hope you'll join us on our next adventure.